Hey, it's Jules in the kitchen preparing breakfast for the upcoming week. Right now, what's on the menu is Egg McMuffins, not your typical McDonald's Egg McMuffins. No shade, but yeah, in this household, we try to keep everything clean as much as possible. So with these Egg McMuffins, we'll be using tomatoes, onions. Right now, because I gave up red meat for Lent, we're using turkey, tons of spinach, and again, onions and tomatoes. You have the option of using egg whites or regular eggs. Totally up to you. Again, everything is changes in stages. So let's get started. Okay, so to get started first, we're gonna start with cooking the turkey, just because it requires a little bit more longer time to prep. So as the turkey is cooking, we can be cutting up the onions, the tomatoes, and combining the other ingredients. So I already got a head start and cracked open a few eggs. Next, I will add about a cup and a half of egg whites. Again, it's completely up to you if you want to do egg whites solely by itself, eggs solely by itself, or combine it. Right now, I just prefer to combine it. When Andrew was training for competition, at that time, we was just solely using egg whites just to cut down the body fat. However, this egg white is pretty good. Again, total fat, 0% saturated fat, 0 trans fat, 0 cholesterol, 0 carbs, 0. Can't beat that. So let's go ahead and add about a cup of this. Do you remember when we were in chemistry, we had to exactly line up the liquids to the actual line? Yeah, it was never good at following those directions, but this is pretty much a good cup. Now, I also have some spinach. Love spinach. It's one of my favorite vegetables. We're going to use some onions and tomatoes. For the sake of the video, I already chopped up the onions and tomatoes. At this point, we're just going to combine the ingredients. So we have the eggs, the egg whites, and now combine the spinach with the egg whites and eggs. Let's get it all in there. Nothing wasted. Get my onions and tomatoes. Now, Andrew is not a fan of tomatoes. Nevertheless, I'm the cook. I use these ingredients simply because it's super healthy. It reduces heart disease. It's great for the skin, purifies the blood, lowers cholesterol, and for me, it's an anti-inflammatory, which is super beneficial. So he's gonna have tomatoes and nevertheless he eats it anyway. So we're going to stir this up. Completely up to you. You can use a whisk or a fork. It's just a preference. I like a fork. So just mix it all up. In the meantime, the lean turkey sausage is cooking in the back. Now at this point, you can choose to add some seasoning. I, for the most part, just tend to add pepper, just cause I'm not a huge fan of salt, and I just prefer the food to have more spice than anything. So I added some chipotle pepper and I added some black pepper. The chipotle pepper that I use is by McCormick. Really delicious. But again, if you would like to add other seasoning, just be careful with the salt intake that you do put into these meals, because again, we're trying to keep it as clean as possible, but again, everything in moderation, right? So stir that in. Now at this point, we just have to wait for the turkey to finish cooking, and then we'll combine all ingredients, put it into our muffin tins, bake for about 45 minutes on 350 degrees, and voila, we'll have some delicious egg McMuffins that are super healthy, clean, again, no trans fat that you'll find in a lot of other fast food restaurants. To each his own, but right now we're just trying to keep it clean as possible and still have something that's delicious and sustainable to the body. So let's take a look at the sausage and see where we're at. The beauty of editing, the ground turkey is finally cooked. So now the next thing is to combine the meat with the egg mixture, put it into our cupcake tins, and then bake it at about 350 degrees. Okay, so I plated the ground turkey. It's so yummy. So yummy. For it to be lean, so delicious. So again, just combine it all. And it's a little hot, but whatever's left behind, just eat it. You're cooking for yourself, so it's all good. But if you are cooking for others, that necessarily wasn't sanitary. But it's just me and my boo, so it's all good. Okay, so the next thing to do now is to prep these cupcake tins. And to prevent them from sticking, what I do is spray them with canola. You can spray. You can again use any brand. Pam, this is Target's brand, Target. And again, this is super clean, 0 calories, 0 total fat, 0 cholesterol, 0 sodium, 0 total carbs. Can't beat this. So I just get into each hole to make sure that once we put the mixture in, it cooks well and doesn't stick to the pan when it comes time to actually taking it out. The hardest part about cooking this, to be honest with you, is actually transferring the liquid into the actual tin. So let's see how it works out. Hey guys, I just peeked at the muffins. They're about done. There's a small revision. Earlier I said about 45 minutes, but it's because in the past I was using a bigger tin, which required more liquid. So more liquid, longer cook time. These are actually smaller muffins, so these take a shorter time to cook. So if you're using the small tins that I showed you earlier, they're about 20 minutes or so. If you're using larger tins, then it's about 40 minutes, give or take. But just constantly check on them. Don't open the door too much because you might have them drop at that point. But if you have an oven like mine where you can actually look through the front, then that's a good way to gauge it as well. So let's take these bad boys out and let's see how they look. So these are the first batches. Yum. Okay, so these are done. This is the finished product. A good way to check to see if they are actually cooked through is use a toothpick. I am a baker as well. So use a toothpick, dip it in, and as long as you don't see anything that comes up, any liquid that comes up, then they're pretty much cooked through. And I just wanted to point out this instrument is called the trivet, and what it does is just basically provides an additional layer between the countertop and the actual tin. That way the hot tin doesn't burns the countertop. So the next step that we're going to do is actually take out these muffins. I use a spatula that's bendable. That way you're able to dig into it and lift them out. And don't forget to use these mittens. And because we sprayed the pans, voila! Thank you so much for joining us in our kitchen. I hope the recipe was successful for you as it was for us. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at changesandstages@gmail.com. And in the meantime, just try to continue to eat healthy, stay active, and just do the best you can. Don't forget to like and subscribe.